بنرحب فيكم. صباح الخير بصالون الملتقى. المحاضرة اليوم عن الفن والهوية، وبيسعدني استضيف سارة بن صفوان، مؤسسة ومنسقة بنات كولكتيف، وهو منبر فني على الإنترنت يركز على مناقشة التقاطع والأنوثة في السياق الإقليمي للشرق الأوسط وشمال أفريقيا من خلال الفن والكتابة. أصدرت المجموعة أول منشور تعاوني في عام 2018 بعنوان في وسط كل ذلك، وهو تعاون من 31 فنانا للفنون البصرية والكتابة والشعر. تعمل سارة حالياً أيضاً كمنسق لجوجنهايم أبوظبي، وكعضو في فريق التنسيق والمسؤول عن تحديد رؤية القيم الفنية لمتحف جوجنهايم أبوظبي في المستقبل، وبناء مجموعته وتنظيم المعارض وإجراء البحوث العلمية وتحقيق البرامج والمنشورات العامة. حصلت سارة على درجة البكالوريوس في الثقافة والنقد والرعاية من سنترال سانت مارتينيز في عام 2013، حيث طورت اهتماما كبيرا بنظرية ما بعد الاستعمار، وسوف نتكلم عنها، وهي أيضا جزء من الطبعة الأولى لمركز جميل للفنون من جمعية الشباب، وهي مبادرة تهدف إلى جلب تصميمات شابة معا لمناقشة المواضيع الحالية المحيطة بالشباب والثقافة. اسم الله عليك سارة، يعني بدي رحب فيك وأقول أنه بهالعمر أنجزت الكثير. خبرينا عن بنات كولكتيف، شو الأيديا وشو عم بتقدمي لخدمة المجتمع؟
Excuse me, I'll be speaking in English, and sorry about that. So Banat Collective, it started as an online platform in 2016, and we're looking at opening a discussion about womanhood and intersectionality in the region. So this means talking about the ways in which women live in the MENA region and opening those discussions that are not normally talked about. And so we're an online platform, but we also do things in real-life activations, such as exhibitions, panel discussions, workshops, meetups, and we've also published a book. We normally give a platform to young and emerging artists online. We interview them, we ask about their artworks, and then we also do exhibitions, and we've done a couple now recently as well.
You are also, Sarah, a curator for Guggenheim Museum, and based on what you choose art or a collection to present at the museum. Can you please educate us in this matter?
Sure. So Guggenheim Abuظبي is a contemporary art museum that's opening in the Saudiyat Cultural District next to Louvre Abu Dhabi and the Zayed National Museum. Guggenheim Abuظبي is more focused on creating an alternative art history canon, which means that we're trying to step away from a centralized art history narrative that we're usually informed about. So the focus of our collection is the region, and also places like South Asia, Southeast Asia, Africa, and these other art history narratives that are not normally talked about. So with that in mind, we do consider that when we are creating our collection. We have over 400 works in our collection at this moment, and we're continuing to build that collection as well. Currently, we are still doing public programs that range from film screenings, events, and panel discussions as well with scholars and artists, and yeah.
So what message you want to deliver out of all the exhibitions, panel talks, and whatever you're doing? This is first question. Second, is it a philanthropy? Does it address a philanthropy causes, or it's just to present and to ensure awareness among the community?
So with Banat Collective, I guess it is inherently a philanthropic project because we are discussing issues of women's rights and women identity in the region. So it is very much a social cause in saying that, and I think art is very much part of that discussion. Art is inherently social and political. So I think through conveying these messages through art helps people understand in a different way. So whether it is through our writing or through artworks, that is the way that we would like to do it.
Hi, Luz. Nice to have you on this panel. Luz came all the way from Dubai. That's why she's a little bit late.
Hi, good. How are you?
Can you introduce yourself, Luz, to the public?
Of course. Yeah, definitely. First of all, I apologize. Yeah, Dubai, Abu Dhabi road is always unpredictable. I'm Luz Vijamil. I work for Cinema Akil. I manage the partnerships of Cinema Akil. I also have my own writing blog. I'm a cancer survivor, and I use my writing in order to overcome a lot of my post-cancer experience.
So, yes, I wanted to tell you, please applause. Yes. Usually, when we work for a cause, we do this because we believe on what we're doing. So what makes you do what you're doing? Can you please tell us about your journey in brief, Luz?
Of course. Writing has always been a part of my life. I have always found an escape in writing, in a lot of the experiences that I used to go through. And being diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 30 was quite, I mean, it shook up my entire world. And I found that in this part of the world in particular is something that is not spoken about enough, and it's something that happens. So there are young women being, diagnosed with the illness and also not perhaps going through a lot of emotions, and there is feeling very alone, which is kind of how I felt when I was diagnosed. And this is why I decided to start a very small platform where I started to write about it. I also started doing a lot of photography without my wig. So I used to wear a wig, and I took a lot of photos bold, and it empowered me to feel like I gained some control over a situation that I did not have any control over, because that's exactly what you feel when you get diagnosed with cancer. You feel like you lose control over your entire life. So writing about it, posting about it, and letting other people know that I'm going through this journey, I felt like it gave me power to go pass through the chemotherapy, which is a very difficult journey, and keep going and continue working and continue doing. So that's kind of it.
That's so brave. Thank you. Going back to you, Sarah, you talked about post-colonization, and the title of الملتقى this year is The Third Culture. And we all know how much we have effect after colonization. So can you please address a message that you're trying to work it out through this beliefs?
So I do think Banat Collective is a product of this, because it's trying to navigate our own identity and our own framework and histories, and to trying to understand them. So I think hopefully through these things we can find a way that it's not necessarily about being either too Arab or like too Western or any of these things, but trying to find a mix of those things in order to create those new identities that are shared from our own histories, and I think with Banat Collective, it really empowers women to be able to share their own stories instead of having them being told by somebody else. And I think it's very, very empowering for artists to be able to share their own messages from their own hands and their own mouths. because no one else can take that away from them at the end of the day.
So listening to this, I can see a common cause between you and Sarah, Luz, because in art, people tend to express and to say what they need to say, and in writing, it's always the same story. Can you please tell us about Aqil cinema and what you addressed through the movies that you present? I saw the Poets movie with an art group, and I had some comment about it. We'll discuss it later.
Absolutely. With Cinema Aqil, I mean, we've been operating in the UAE for the past 4.5 years now. And very similarly to the spirit of Banat Collective, we wanted to give a platform for a lot of the stories to be told from our part of the world. So particularly, we give a very important space to Arab cinema, to cinema coming out of the Middle East, North Africa, and the GCC. And at the same time, we bring the type of world stories that you don't really see in the multiplex theaters. So with Cinema Aqil, we're also trying to give a voice to kind of the multiculturality of the region and of the country, and that's what we do. We've been doing it for years as a pop-up, and now we have our permanent space in Al Serkal Avenue in Dubai, where we screen films every single night, and we are known to be the alternative kind of all year round festival cinema, and that's our aim.
So you created a movement, in other words, and one more question: how you curate these movies based on what you decide that you want to screen it or not to screen it? Because in Cinema Aqil, it's not the commercial part. It is more educative. Maybe you discuss movie after that. Can you tell us more, please?
Of course, this is actually the question we get asked the most, is how do you choose your films? It really depends. I mean, we have different programs running for different reasons. In Abu Dhabi in particular, we've had a program at Warehouse 421 where we give a space to contemporary Arab cinema, for example. In Dubai, we experiment with different things. So I have curated a Latin American film program, given that I am half Arab, half South American. So, are you? That's amazing.
This is another common feature between you.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, you see, I'm Palestinian Colombian, so great to see. And I curated that program in order to kind of bridge my two cultures together. So we keep it very open. We mainly want to give or showcase up-and-coming directors and new voices in the industry, and that's kind of what we're aiming for.
You discuss movie after screening?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we try to do it as much as possible. Sometimes it's not always possible, but we love having discussions and debates after, or inviting the director or the producer of the film to come and discuss. I mean, we have had Banat Collective in a panel discussion in the past. So we do like to give, to give that room for discussion. That's kind of our whole aim.
Sarah, why you choose Guggenheim? Is it because of the architectural feature, or it's because it is an indication for something that represents you in particular? Because we all know that Guggenheim is not the Louvre, it's not anything else. And Guggenheim Abu Dhabi in particular is different from Guggenheim New York, for example. So tell me more about this journey that you are about to endure.
Sure. So what's different about Guggenheim Abu Dhabi between the Guggenheim in New York is that we are starting a collection from scratch. This is very different, and so we're able to take a really different stance and outlook onto the way we start collecting things. The reason why I chose Guggenheim Abu Dhabi, it is the museum of our present, and it's the museum of our generation, because it really is talking about contemporary issues and our near future and past. So I think a lot of people are able to relate to these things very closely. And even within the Guggenheim Abu Dhabi collection, we have our Emirati artists, so we're very well represented in the collection. And I think and hopefully it will start a new, very strong platform for people to come and refer to the Guggenheim Abu Dhabi collection to see their own regional artists being represented in them.
So you mean to say that it's going to be a permanent collection along with other visitors, or it's going to be changing every now and then?
So in the museum there will be a permanent collection where we will be showing items from our collection, and also temporary exhibitions which may include loans, things from our collection, and we also loan artworks outside to other museums as well internationally.
So this art movement, writing, cinema, and all what's happening in Circle Avenue made you find yourself and made you control what you're going through, Luz? Did you find yourself, did you find an escape in all this? This is my question.
Definitely. Well, my job or being at the cinema has, it's never been just a job for me. It's been a lot more than that. So it did give me that, that escape, that it made me not focus on what I was going through, but rather pretend or have a level of normalcy that I really needed at the time. And being in that community, I mean, the Al Circal community was extremely supportive during the time that I was going through treatment and so on. And writing was definitely an escape. I was actually very reserved about my diagnosis at the beginning, but once I decided to talk about it publicly, I realized that the fact that it was helping other people in some way, or perhaps inspiring other people in some way, was also helping me heal. And that's the reason why I decided to do it.
So before we move into questions, a piece of advice: if we talk about our problem loudly, we heal?
It's not for everyone. I think everybody has a different journey, and you need to do what's right for you and whatever feels right for the person. For me, in that particular moment, I felt like that was right for me. But some people may go through difficult situations, whether it's an illness or whatever it is, on their own, quietly by themselves, and that's the right thing for them. For me, I just did whatever felt right for me and whatever helped me heal, and I'm glad I did it. That's
and Sarah, my last question for you: is art conveying the message that you want to deliver so far from all the exercises that you're doing through Banat Collective?
Yeah, of course. Like, I think with every activation that we do and every feature that we start putting out, it inspires new people to come out. And I think you really touched on an important thing, is the vulnerability, and how vulnerability is actually a powerful act. And usually vulnerability is seen as a weakness, especially with both women and men, actually. And so I think, and just now through our last activation, which we did in Art Dubai in the UAE Now segment, we were really riding on this idea of vulnerability, and we invited visitors to come and draw on the artwork that we placed in there, and we pushed them to answer, to think about what vulnerability is and what it means to them, and start challenging those notions. So again, yes, I think what we do is by introducing new ideas and new topics for people to start to be challenged and to start thinking about them.
So in this case, vulnerability becomes a strength the minute we express it and the minute we say it and we show it to the world. I would like to open the platform for questions, and there's so much to talk about, actually, because you're tackling emotion, psychology, so many aspects way beyond movies and art. You're addressing every aspect of life.
مرحبا فيكم. Hi Luz, hi Sarah. I have two questions. I like your name, Banat Collective. It's, you write the name in Arabic. And another one is part in English. Why you choose to put this name? May I know, please?
I think the word banat, like it's banat is the means girls in English, and it's the plural version of bint. And I think it really represents a collective power, you know, a strength in community and strength in togetherness. So really, I think banat really is, first of all, direct, and secondly, it just really represents togetherness.
Yeah, but you put the name Arabic, you know?
Yeah. I think because it represents our Arab identity, and I think even when we were younger, and like, you know, everyone's like, you know, bringing together all the girls like yalla ya banat, like that and stuff. So it's like it's very it almost hits a nostalgic point as well, because we're women, we're not banat. So you know, but I think it really brings on the youthfulness of it as well.
And what you're doing when I saw in Art Dubai. Can you explain what I saw this work? You do it in Dubai?
I showcased two artists, Jannah Ghalini and Sara al-Agroubi. Jannah Ghalini's work was presented as an interactive artwork. So this piece was 26 meters of chiffon fabric that she hand dyed and painted over a few days, and it was a very laborious task for her to do. When we brought the artwork, then we started to hang it into the booth, and we invited visitors to be able to interact with the fabric. And a lot of children found this very, very amazing, because they just walked through the entire Art Dubai fair being told not to touch anything, and then here they are drawing on artworks and on the wall. So it was really nice to see that very personal and intimate interaction with the visitors. But it also, it was also a project to start bringing together collective thoughts, and we had 3 notebooks there for people to write on and answer as well. And the 3 questions were vulnerability is power. The next one was, how does the landscape affect your identity? And the third one was, oh, I forgot what the third one was, but in a sense, like, it really invited people to be challenged and think about these questions. And then the answers in the notebooks will be taken by the artists and be transposed again into the artwork. So we really did call this a community artwork, because it was made by the people, essentially.
And you are three banat, 3 girls, huh? Together?
Yeah, currently, yeah, we are them.
And both of you are mixers? 3 of you, huh?
3 of us are sort of mixes, yeah.
Why you choose to be together? Is it something found lost, or it's something
just
connect, or
yeah,
just by chance?
Just by chance. It's all natural, you know. We're all lovers of art, and artists are curators and writers, and we realize that there are some things that need to be addressed and that we've been frustrated with. And I think through this collective that we're able to do that and discuss those things together. Did you
go abroad to show your art?
We haven't been abroad yet, but we've sold our books internationally.
Mashallah.
So it's been, the word has been getting out there a little bit.
Luz, I'm proud of you, and I've been to Cinema Aqil, actually, and we have a similarity in our book club. Also, we see a movie with the book, and we discuss together. And also, we see them before. Also, any film, there is a meaning, and there's the discussion. And really, what you're doing, great things. I know it's Peter Scarlett. It's help also part of our book club, but unfortunately, he's not here. He's traveling. What do you think? Mostly, film people they like to come. Which kind of film the people like it to see more?
Our audience, our audience
yes.
is very, very diverse. I mean, we get a little bit of everything, and I think every film that we show or every movie that we show has its own audience. So we've been able to bring a little bit of everything. We get a lot of, you know, the kind of the European audience that is used to having an art house cinema culture and seen independent cinema. But we've also attracted a lot of the Arab audience that wants to see their own films. Whenever we bring films from Palestine, from Lebanon, from here. So our audience is quite mixed. Nowadays, we're quite proud to be bringing a younger generation and to be bringing the early 20-year-olds that are curious about films. So I think that's one of our aims, is to get more kids and teenagers into the cinema.
Good morning, young ladies. Sarah, I was admiring your hair, and then Luz came, and I was expecting a picture like that. Now I got so, like Asma said, more proud of you, because to fight something that God gave us without any choice, it's a beautiful thing. In fact, something came to my mind now. 12 years back, my husband got cancer. And we stayed in the hospital in Al Ain for 4 months, just because he was sick, okay? He was scared or something. And because I am in الملتقى, a member of الملتقى, I used to come down to Abu Dhabi from Al Ain every 2 weeks for the book discussion. Then I will go back and I will read and write. And without knowing or realizing how much de-stress is the writing. I was writing that Hanadi called me. I was writing that Samira sent me a message, how is your husband today? And all my Multaqa people, there wasn't WhatsApp, there was SMS. So it is a beautiful thing what you do. I am proud of you that you have been chosen on the jury of judging a cinema, the Middle East film. Have you started this one or not yet? And then Sarah, I will come back to you.
I did. I mean, I was in the jury of the Zayed University Film Festival last week, and today I'm actually in the jury of the American University in Dubai student films.
So this is the first year now.
So this is the first year that I've
mission.
been. Yeah, this is the first
How
year
do
that
you
I've
like
been
it?
doing that.
Challenging?
Yeah, it's interesting actually. It's really interesting to see how the kids are kind of. Putting their soul and heart into these films, and it's really, really nice. It's very humbling. There are some very talented, university students here, and I'm very proud of it. So.
How old are these children?
They're not kids. They're like in between probably 17 to 21.
Okay.
So they're like in their late teens. Yeah.
That's nice. Thank you, Sarah. As a witness myself and many of us here, in the cultural scene in the UAE, especially in Abu Dhabi, I am running into young ladies as curators. This years back, they were not these many, maybe 1, 2, and they would come from the Western world. I've seen here in the Guggenheim, in Manarat Saadiyat, in Art Abu Dhabi, Art Dubai, many of you. How do you explain that to us? And you are very, very young.
I think, yeah, and I think, I think there's also a reason that the art sector here in the UAE is dominated by women. I think we have a lot of things to say, and that we're prepared to take on those battles and challenges. I think we're very powerful. Women are very powerful beings, and that we need to take advantage of that.
Okay, you both come from very similar artistic interests. One in cinema, one being creating a platform, a space for people to explore. Would you say anything of it is to do with having a mixed background and nationality? Would you say it was seeking something where you felt comfortable, or being half and half of something you didn't know which one you belonged to?
I think naturally all my life, I was either seen either one or the other or none, and I definitely battled with this identity crisis for a very long time, and I think that's what really did get me interested into identity politics, and and trying to self-discover myself as well, and trying to just understand and accept my identity as well. So I don't know if the art interest and that crisis is related, but I think that art has definitely helped me understand those difficulties that I went through.
From my end, definitely. I mean, my two halves are very marked, but perhaps for me it was a little bit different because I was born and raised where my mom is from, in Colombia, and my dad speaks Spanish. So at home our identity was very skewed towards the Colombian side, but my dad was still very I mean, he's very Arab, obviously. And then once I moved to the Middle East, that's when kind of my identity crisis started, because it was when I got exposed to kind of that side of me that I had almost ignored for such a long time. And it definitely made me interested in identity politics as well, because I ended up studying politics for that reason, because I couldn't really, I wanted to understand a little bit more of how the world kind of works. And it definitely also, you know, influenced the way that I do everything almost. My Latin side and my Arab side always come together, so.
Hi ladies, I hope you can hear me well. To be honest with you, I just want to tell you I'm very proud of you. Thank you very much for being with us here, and God bless you both.
Okay, coming to an end, I would like to thank you so much. Maybe we need more hours, more meetings. We need to come and visit a platform or Cinema Aqil in order to understand more your message that you're trying to convey. In the name of Multaqa and Asma Siddiq, I would like to thank you so much.